Hashem Hashem Na'aseh v'natzliach. We are, I don't know shiur number what, but continuation from where we were from the previous time. First of all, as always, we'll try to start with a story, something about the Kedusha of Shabbat. Chachamim teach us that two Malachei Hasharet, two angels, they accompany a person when he comes from the Beit Knesset home. One is a good angel, the other one is an evil angel. And when a person comes home and everything is beautiful, there is shalom in the house, there is a candle lit and the table is set, the good malach, the good angel says, Yehi Ratzon, may it be the will of Hashem that it should be the same for next Shabbat. And the other malach, even against his will, he says, Amen. And if chas v'shalom, it's not like that. There's it's not as happy and it's not as joyous. Then the other malach says that it should be the same for the next time, and then upon which the good malach, against his will, he says Amen. The Talmud teaches us about the importance, the incredible importance of having kiddush on wine on Shabbat. That's they bring the story of Rav Zakkai. Rav Zakkai was one of the great Chachamim, and he was extremely careful to make kiddush every Shabbat on wine. Obviously, they didn't have grape juice those days, and even though wine was quite hard to come by, he would try extremely hard to make kiddush on wine. One week, he didn't have the means to buy wine for kiddush, and he was very sad about it. He was trying to get the funds to be able to acquire wine for the kiddush, and he couldn't do it. He was very sad about it. He had his old mother living with him, and she saw that her child is extremely sad about it, that he can't upkeep his custom, like that he always makes kiddush on wine. What did she do? She had a special hair cover that she used to use it for Shabbat. It was like, it had designs, it had special embroidery, and what she did was she sold it. And with that, she bought wine for Kiddush. Friday night, Rabbi Zakkai comes. He comes home and he sees his mother is not wearing her normal Shabbat hair cover. And he turns to her and he sees that she's quite happy. And when he looks at the table and he sees the table is set, he realizes what happened. He realizes that there is wine on the table, and he realizes that his mother went ahead and she did what she did. She sold her cover for this purpose. And he, with his full heart, he gave her a blessing, lots of blessings. It says in the Talmud that the next year he became extremely wealthy, and he bought his mother a special hair cover embroidered with gold and precious stones. Our Chachamim say that when she passed away, she left as inheritance for her son 300 barrels of wine, which was quite a fortune. And when Rav Zakkai himself passed away, he left for his children 3,000 barrels of wine. All of that, it was Hashem says, you're trying so hard to perform this mitzvah of honoring Shabbat. I'm going to make it available for you to do this. It says that a person does a lot of things in this world to push away negative things from himself. He says the same thing happens in the heavens. When there is, God forbid, a judgment on a person or whatever it is, these judgments turn to mercy. Friday night, it's night. Usually at night, there is judgment in the world. Friday night, by the activities that we do, by the things that mitzvot that we perform, we turn the judgment into mercy of Hashem, into the kindness of Hashem. One of the main things that we do, wine, Kabbalistically, is also, they call it's judgment. And when you use the wine to make kiddush, when you use that object of judgment, and you make kiddush on it, you honor the Shabbat, you show that you love Shabbat and you're honoring Shabbat, that simcha, that joy, it does so much to turn the judgment into joy. The key is that a person has to do these things with happiness and joy. That he needs to think to himself, needs to bring joy and happiness into Shabbat. That's why the Satan tries to make people sad and upset and jittery right before Shabbat. They could get upset over things that they would normally not get upset over. But comes Friday afternoon, comes Friday night, a person gets jumpy and they get upset over small things even. And we see from all over how Chazal teach us in the Zohar and in the Talmud that a person needs to bring joy, needs to bring happiness, needs to change the attitude towards Shabbat, towards the thinking Shabbat, thinking how Shabbat is a time for joy and happiness. It should change a person's attitude completely from one way to another, and not to let things get them down. Because when you perform the mitzvot with joy and happiness, you are creating an aura around that mitzvah that will bring the mitzvah even to a much, much, much higher level that a person could imagine. When it comes to kiddush, when it comes to lighting the candles, when it comes to setting up the table even, when you do it with joy, you're putting a positive energy into this. When a person does it, I got to do this, I have guests, I have this, I have that. The person is shalom. The person creates for himself a pressure time. A person creates for himself a time that it automatically becomes angry and upset when something is out of line. And Chachamim are teaching us that a person, even if things are not going the way he or she planned, even if things are not happening the way they wanted it, still, what overrides everything is that happiness and that joy that a person needs to imbue, needs to inject into doing and performing the mitzvah. To be happy about it, that is the main condition. Like we mentioned before, Arya Kadosh says, when a person does the mitzvot through joy, through happiness, he's showing that he's connecting himself to Hashem. But when he's sad about it, it's a disconnect. Sadness and upset is a disconnect between him and Hashem. Happens, the Satan does this every week to everyone. And it's a thing that a person needs to create that state of mind that such a thing should not happen. Okay, let's get to the next segment in Halakha. We're going to talk about a little bit about the prayers of Shabbat. And now, there is a general halakha that is not only for Shabbat, that every day a person is able to pray Arvit even before darkness. We mentioned it's Plaga Mincha, it's about an hour and some before sunset even, and a person wants to pray Arvit, he could. The base of this, we'll just touch on this, if you're interested. The base of this is actually an argument between two Chachamim in the Talmud, Rabbi Yehuda and the Chachamim. Rabbi Yehuda says you could pray Mincha only up to Plaga Mincha. Chachamim say no, you could pray Mincha until the end of the day. That's the argument between them. According to, in the same token, according to Rabbi Yehuda, after Plaga Mincha, you could already say Arvit. According to Chachamim, no, you cannot say, I'm so sorry. After Plaga Mincha, you say Arvit. They say Arvit or Mincha? I don't remember. After Plaga Mincha, a person could say Arvit. According to Chachamim, no, you cannot say Arvit after Plaga Mincha. You could only say Arvit once it's dark. Okay. The Gemara, not in a normal manner, says, you know what, halakha is like both. You could do like this one, you could do like this one, whichever one you want. Just don't create a contradiction that you say after plaga mincha, you say mincha. So you're saying, you know what, now is day. And then right away say arvit, because you're saying now is night. Make up your mind. Which one are you going like? Pick one today and go like him. Tomorrow you want to go like the other person, that's fine. But no, not really necessary. As long as you following this rule that the mincha was said before Pelaga Mincha and the Arvit is said after Pelaga Mincha, you're fine. You're fine. Not really. You don't have to. Now, it's true that in many places the custom is actually they do both after Pelaga Mincha, which is strange because the Talmud says, what's that? Yeah, that's a separate issue, right? We're talking about between Ashkenazim, Sephardim, the many shuls in Yerushalayim, and they said this is a custom. The custom is that they do this contradictory thing, which if they're doing it, that means there's some basis to it probably, and they're going with it. But definitely, a person should be careful not to. Many shuls around here for sure, around many places, they are careful with this. When they are doing early Shabbat, they always say mincha before Pelaga Mincha, and they always say the Arvit after Pelaga Mincha. That's how they usually set it up. You always wonder, where did he come up with this time? This is the calculation. You calculate it based on Pelaga Mincha. That's how it is. Nowadays the days are getting shorter, so therefore it's getting earlier. Yes. Yes, we said that you could, that a person could do it. It's just better once a year make a condition with yourself that you do not accept Shabbat. Now, on Fridays, it's an interesting thing that a person should be. Shulchan Aruch even brings it that a person should try to pray earlier, not very early, obviously, but to pray earlier so that you have the night, especially in the summer where the days are longer, and by the time you come back from shul, it's like 9 o'clock sometimes. And poor things, the kids or even ourselves, everybody's dead tired. What kind of a Friday night meal is that? Everybody's tired. Everybody's like, can't wait until it's over. So that is the reason why in many communities they have early minyan, that they come earlier. They say Arvit after Pelaga Mincha. They accept Shabbat and they say Arvit after Pelaga Mincha, and right away they make Kiddush and have their Seudah. One thing to be careful with, now, just a side note, if you happen, I know the shiur is for ladies, but if you happen to go to shul for early minyan and you're walking by next door, next shul, or downstairs or upstairs, there's another minyan that is praying at a regular time, and they're saying mincha. And in mincha, they have kadosh, kadosh, kadosh. So a person thinks, wait a minute, I already accepted Shabbat, I'm in Shabbat. How can I answer kadosh, kadosh, kadosh of mincha? That doesn't break Shabbat. That is perfectly fine. A person can answer kadosh, kadosh of mincha and the things of mincha. These things would not be a contradiction to what he's doing, that he accepted Shabbat. Now, let's give another introduction. Chachamim teach us that when it is time to perform a mitzvah, a person should not busy himself or herself with another activity that could drag him into this activity that he might miss out to do this mitzvah. An example, Mishnah brings down that a person might come tired from the field and it's night already, and he says, you know what, I'm just going to take a nap, I'm going to eat something and take a nap, and then I'm going to perform the mitzvah of Shema of the night. Okay. Chachamim say a person should not think that way. Why? Because he's just going to fall asleep and he's going to miss out on this mitzvah of tonight's Shema. He's going to totally miss out this mideoraita, this biblical mitzvah of saying Shema. So therefore, they said, you know what? Don't do this to yourself. Say it right away. Say it right away because you're going to miss out. That's the point. Meaning to say, don't busy yourself with an activity that could hold you back from performing the mitzvah. And this has a lot of ramifications. One is like this. It is Friday night, and a person comes back from the early minyan, and they come home, Baruch Hashem, everybody is happy, everybody is home, let's eat. But then you look at your watch, it's going to be the time to say Shema. So what do? Do I make Kiddush, or do I wait to say Shema? If I wait to say Shema, that defeated the whole purpose. I went early because I want to eat earlier. Now you want to make me wait to say Shema first and then eat? So what do? You need to again look at your watch. If it's not Seta Kochavim yet, meaning, let's say, our example that we usually gave, 7:30 is sunset. Halakat Nerod that means 7:12. Am I right? 7:12 was Halakat Nerod, like a candle lighting. 7:30 is sunset. Seta Kochavim, we said, is around 20 minutes after. If it's not yet near 10 minutes to 8, sit down, make Kiddush, and eat your meal. Perfect. And then say Shema right after the meal. That's the way to do it. But if a person sees that, you know what, it's getting late, or they're saying Shalom Aleichem, they're singing and doing all that, then do it. Sing everything. Right before Kiddush, say Shema. That's the best way to do it. As long as you're not at Seta Kochavim, you're not at 20 minutes after Shekiah. In our example of 7:30 Shekiah, 10 minutes to 8 is Seta Kochavim, let's say. If you're not at 10 minutes to 8, do Kiddush, eat, no problem. But if it's already 10 to 8, say Shema first, then make Kiddush. Shema is stronger. That's it. They do, but we said you might get busy in an activity and forget it, number one. Also, Shema is a mitzvah that you perform, that men have an obligation to perform every morning and every night. And therefore, it's a constant mitzvah. Every single day we do it. It's a lot more, it happens a lot more than Kiddush, which is once a week. They're both biblical, but this is stronger. Say Shema first. But that only happens if you're at the right time. If you're not at the right time, keep going. Sure. No. We say Shema at Tzedek Kochavim. Men have a conversation at Tzedek Kochavim. Beforehand, no. Let's say you want to eat a meal. Perfect question. You go with the family to a restaurant, let's say, or at home, and you want to have bread. This is talking bread, and you want to have bread, everyone. You look at your watch. It's Tzedek Kochavim. Then it depends. If they have a set minyan that they go, let's say there's a minyan 9 o'clock in the kollel, 10 o'clock in the kollel, they go to that minyan all the time. They don't have to worry about it. Being that there is a set minyan, eat your meal, enjoy, have fun, everything perfect. And then they'll go to the minyan. Halachically, there is no problem with that. If there is no set minyan, then the best thing is let them say Shema first, and then do the meal. If it's Tzedek Kochavim, if it's the time. If it's not, then perfect. You have no problem. Remember, now, cute halacha. If a person accepted Shabbat early, Plaga Mincha already and everything, and they come home, or they're home, they're just home. What's a good example? They went to a hotel for Shabbat. They went away. They went to a resort. They're spending Shabbat there. There's no minyan, and they accepted Shabbat early. Beautiful, gorgeous sunset, and they enjoyed it. They made Kiddush. They had a Seudah. Nobody said Arvit yet. Not the husband, not the wife, none of the kids. Nobody said Arvit yet. They could do that. They could make Kiddush. They could have the meal, everything, even though they didn't say Arvit yet. Again, as long as they have not started the Seudah within a half hour, this is the real Seudah, within a half hour of Tzedek Kochavim. See what happened? Let's go back to our example. What I said before is the person already said Arvit. In Arvit there was Shema. So that's why we said, you know what, if it's not yet Tzedek Kochavim is, in our example of 7:30 Shekiah, 10 minutes to 8 is Tzedek Kochavim. So a person said Arvit, and now he's coming home, let's have the Seudah, even though it's 7:30 already, even though it's 7:40 already, no problem. As long as it's not 10 minutes to 8, we're good. And if it is 7 minutes to 8, I'll say Shema and continue. Perfect. Good. If they didn't say Arvit, in the resort example, they didn't say Arvit. They just said they were watching the sunset, gorgeous, beautiful, and they started having their meal by watching the sunset. They made kiddush. Everything was done before, let's say, at 7 o'clock they did this. As long as they didn't start half hour before sunset, in our example would be 7:20-ish. As long as they didn't start within a half hour before sunset, before Set HaKochavim, we're fine. If it's a half hour before sunset, before Set HaKochavim, say Shema, and then have your Seudah. Don't worry, you could say Arvit after. No problem. You finish the Seudah, you said Birkat HaMazon, you sang, you said Birkat HaMazon, everything, then everyone gets up and says Arvit, it's okay. You could. After the meal even, you could say. Yeah, the whole meal, you had the whole meal. Person could do that. Or let's say the wife, husband and the children came back from shul, she didn't say Arvit yet. She would like to say Arvit, but you know what? She sees everybody's hungry. You could have kiddush, you could have the seudah. After Birkat HaMazon, I don't know, whatever, 10 o'clock at night, she could open her siddur and say Arvit. Whatever she likes. Lechadodi, lechuna hanana, or just say Amidah. Remember we said, only Amidah is fine. Okay? That's halakha. Another cute halakha regarding to this, a boy's bar mitzvah is on Shabbat. Okay? The day of his birthday is on Shabbat. So the suggestion to this boy is, listen, young man, don't pray Arvit early. Because if you pray Arvit before Shekiah, before sunset, you were a kid. You were doing the mitzvot because of training. You're not yet obligated to do the mitzvot. Wait, do it later, so that tonight, you do it at night, then you're already 13, you're a man. That's another cute little thing that comes out of this. And all right, so that's the best thing to do. But if he did, we're not gonna make him, oh, he did that when you were not obligated. Now tonight you're obligated. You didn't do nothing. Do it again. We're not gonna make him do it again. But it's just a much better suggestion for him to do. It is a great thing that many shuls, Baruch Hashem, they have this custom that the rabbi gives the derasha. Better, he should stick 1 or 2 halachot in the derasha also. I remember we had our shul in Eretz Israel. My father, Zichron Livracha, told me to give the speech Friday night. I was young. Told me to give the speeches on Friday night in the shul. You know, this is Israel. It's not like here. People says, we heard all these things so many times. Teach us halakha. So okay. It was great. So we had a halakha shiur every Friday night, and instead of the derasha, talk about the parasha, we had halachot Shabbat. That's what we were discussing. And boy, it's an Israeli shul. There were so many fights. One guy would say his own halakha, the other guy was... It was very, very lively. And nobody fell asleep. But it's a great thing. It's a great thing. You know, so one person told me personally, he says, this is the only time that I have for my learning the whole week. He was a cab driver, and he said, this is the only time, Friday night derasha is the only time that I have to learn for the whole week. It's a big chesed. It's a big chesed. Many shuls, many Sephardi shuls especially, they have a custom that they say Shir Hashiri. Shir Hashirim Asher Shlomo is 117 pesukim. 117 pesukim. Chachamim tell us, Kol HaKetavim, all the writings, they're all kadosh. Shir Hashirim is Kodesh HaKodashim. He's holy of holy. He's extremely holy. And they say a person does it, says it slowly in one sitting, he is cleansing his soul. He or she is cleansing his soul. I'm sure you heard there is this segula that you get up by dawn, before sunrise, and you sit down and you say Shir Hashirim for 40 days straight. HaKadosh Baruch Hu helps you, whatever it is you want. It's a big thing. At dawn, yeah, everything. No, that's the best time. That's the best time. I heard it from yeah. Let's see. Now it's a little later because nowadays sunrise is like 6:20, so dawn would be around 5:30. What? Sometimes it's 4. You know, it depends on the day. I don't know if they're gonna change. They're not gonna change the clock this year. You know, so it's gonna fluctuate a lot. I don't know if that's the only time that's a segula. This is what I heard personally from a big person. He said that's the best time. That's the best time. He said something else also. He said, you say it sitting down on the floor, wash your hands, and they're going to get dressed, sitting down on the floor next to a doorpost. He says, then Hashem will. No, next to the doorpost. I don't get that. I'm just telling you what I heard from him. No, honestly, it says in many places, in the Gemara also it says, in the Zohar it says, that is the time that is called Zaman Shel Chasadim. That is the time that the world gets cleansed. Through the night is the time of judgment. After midnight, the world starts getting cleansed already, whatever that means. Right? I have no idea what that means. But at dawn, that's the time that the time of chesed. The chesed of Hashem, the kindness of Hashem sets in. And that's the best time. It's like the world is fresh. The day hasn't begun yet. It's right then. It's the time of freshness. For us to understand, obviously, I'm sure there is a much, much deeper concept in it. But that's what it is. It's a really very, very strong, pure time. Have you ever? No. Then you have to set your priorities. Shalom Bayit is extremely important. Why would that mess up the Shalom Bayit? Yeah, good for you. Good for you. Okay, that's for a different shear. And that's for a different shear that, for men and for ladies, that's something else. That's for sure something else, something extremely important. But listen, you have to know, you have to look at the upside. The upside is that, Baruch Hashem, that he's able to do that, and it brings really Kedusha to your home, Berachat to your home, for sure. For sure. It's known. It's a great thing. It's really a great thing. I'm telling you, that's the best time. That is absolutely the best time. Have you ever been to the Kotel midnight? Midnight in the Kotel, stay there through the night. It's heaven. It's heaven. And then you pray Hanetz. It's really heaven. Number one, it's not so hot, And number two, it's so peaceful. It's incredible. You don't have to go midnight. I'm saying let's say you go 3 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, whenever you go to Israel, you jet lag. So you get up 3 o'clock in the morning. Might as well. What's the best place to go at 3 o'clock in the morning? Kotel. But anyway, now I went a little off tangent, but Shir HaShirim is Kodesh HaKodashim. We mentioned this before. Right before Shabbat enters, that's also Kodesh HaKodashim. That's an extremely, extremely holy time. You remember we said you're leaving Olam Hazeh, you're going in the world of Hashem. You're entering. Shabbat is the world of Hashem. You're entering Hashem, so to speak. That instant, that time is a very holy time. That is why generations and generations, this is going on. People say Shir HaShirim on Friday afternoon. The best time to say it is before Kabbalat Shabbat even. That's really the best time. And if the mincha ends right before Shabbat, then many shuls, this is what they do. They say Shir HaShirim even before mincha. You go to Eretz Israel, you see everybody sitting around, they have a special tune for it, cantillations for Shir HaShirim, and they say then that's the best thing. And in the summer though, where the days are long and the prayer ends late, it wouldn't be fair to the congregation. Definitely say it before mincha, so that people let them you're gonna sit down and sing Shir HaShirim. It takes at least 20 minutes. 20 minutes, people are gonna go crazy. They want to get home. They don't want to get home 10 o'clock at night. So it's a Torah tzibur. It's a pressure on the tzibur. Also, another thing, some shuls they do Shir HaShirim and then the rabbi gets up and speaks. Come on, put Shir HaShirim aside. Do it sometime earlier before mincha. The speech, especially if it's intertwined with halacha, that takes priority. That's the best thing to do. Shir HaShirim is beautiful as it is. Do it a little earlier. That would be the best thing to do. This is two separate things, really. That's for a personal thing. That's something else. This Shir HaShirim is depicting our entering the Kodesh HaKodashim. Shabbat. Two separate things.
I know that. And it's often, let's say, I said Shishim, I had to Friday, I had to say twice.
You don't have to. This is by no means anyone has to. It's a nice custom. Let's set this in stone. There is no obligation whatsoever. It's a very nice custom. It's a great thing to do. It's nice, but you shouldn't feel pressured to have to do it. Sometimes a person makes a neder. I'm going to say Shir in 40 days. That's a neder. That's something else. Here, we're not. You have to know that you don't have to do it. If there's something else, like we said, the derasha is definitely more important than saying Shir Shiri. You gain halacha from it. You see what to do, what not to do. That's very important. That's right. We don't know really the meaning because it's very deep. We don't know. We don't understand it. We try to understand. If you pay attention, if you ever see Shir Hashirim with Rashi, it's like this much Shir Hashirim, there's this much Rashi in the bottom. It's all metaphors. It's all metaphors, and even those metaphors are, yeah. But the key is, I don't remember the calculation. I think they said there's 117 hours in the whole week, and this 117 pesukim are rectification for each hour of the week. Something like that. I have to find that source again, but that's what it is. There's a lot to it. Now, the custom is that most congregations, they accept Shabbat by saying Bo'ik Allah, Bo'ik Allah, Bo'ik Allah. They say it 3 times. This Lech Adodi was not